Hey y'all, welcome back to Equals 3. It's your boy Ray William Johnson, and today we are interviewing YouTube personality KomradeKitty.
Is there gonna be enough people that know that reference? Like, still watching YouTube?
Those who don't know, Ray William Johnson was this Indian man who got popular on YouTube for talking about shitty viral videos. He would
What's happening for him? Pole vaulting.
take a viral video and go, "Oh wow, that's so crazy, guys! I can't believe it." He was the reply girl of his days. That's another outdated YouTube reference for y'all. Reply girls.
I feel old. Thank you.
This is SwigTalk podcast. I'm your host, MC Swigga, and today we got KomradeKitty, fellow content creator, has helped out with a couple of the parodies and the videos on this channel. How you doing?
Doing pretty good. Just woke up a little while ago, and got the fur babies in order so we could do this today. And I have my tea, so pardon me while I sip. But no tea spilled here today.
Nice.
Probably not.
First question I got, like I ask everybody, is what was life like for you before you started doing content? Like, what were you doing before you started making videos in general?
Well, the first time I started, or had an inkling to even try to make videos was in college. I think I was a freshman or a sophomore, I think, in college. And I didn't quite know where I wanted to go with my content. I was just kind of trying to do funny skits and cringy shit, honestly, at that point. But once I got into my major that I wound up graduating with, which was World War II and Holocaust history, decided that there are a lot of historical films out there that are not historical for shit. So I wanted to do reviewing content around that to showcase that just because it says it's a historical film does not mean that it's accurate in any kind of way. And I feel like the one review that I got not the most flack for, but the most pushback for was my Marie Antoinette review. Because people honestly thought that everything in that movie was as it was and it shouldn't have been reviewed. It was really weird.
Was this like Michael Bay's Pearl Harbor kind of shit? Like, were these weren't like documentaries, were they?
No, they weren't. I'm trying to remember who the actress was that played Marie Antoinette. I think it was Reese Witherspoon. And to give the film credit, it did get a lot of the historical material correctly, but it also kind of was going in with the bias of, this is France, in France we are weird as shit, sort of deal. So it really, like, upplayed a lot of the sexual stuff, like, a lot, and it was kind of creepy because Marie Antoinette was like 14 or 15 when she got married.
And when were you making these videos? And was it on YouTube, or was it, because Patrick talked about Blip when we did the episode with Patrick?
I tried Blip before I put anything on YouTube, any reviewing content on YouTube, I think. So I was definitely in the early days of Blip. I was putting content on Blip first. I was one of, not the original people on Blip, but one of the content creators that tried my hand at Blip. Because the pitch was, if you get so many views on Blip, you could, put a payment on, a small apartment and be set for life, apparently with all these views coming in. And apparently, they did not also mention that you have to do your own marketing for your content on Blip. Otherwise, you're not going to get seen on Blip. It was more or less the same thing that it is right now with YouTube. Unless you go heavy hitting with your marketing, you put your link everywhere you can possibly put it. No one's going to find your stuff. I definitely tried Blip, but that did not work, and I was kind of happy to see it go.
That was when. What was the time you started? Like, what year exactly, if you remember?
If I started as a freshman in college, it was 2008. So around the time of being 18 or 19.
And so your whole gimmick, that's another thing that's been talked about amongst these, like, reviewer people that we've had on SwigTalk, is everybody was like, you have to have a niche, you have to have a gimmick. And you already had one, just solely based on what you were learning in college, historical stuff. And you were like, oh, I want to do these historical movies that fuck up a lot of facts. So that was your thing. And you eventually kind of took a break from that, and what was the reason for that? Was it just, you know, did you ever have copyright shit on your channel?
Yeah, it wound up being copyright stuff, and then, you know, I actually had to, you know, hunker down and focus on college. So, unfortunately, timing-wise, it kind of bit me in the ass of trying to manage college life and responsibilities and trying to basically do this very expensive hobby of mine on the side. I never got paid for it at all. I think my revenue from Blip was only ever like 5 cents.
Oh.
It was never anything good.
Oh, so basically it's like YouTube nowadays. You only get 5 cents, even if you're a big-name YouTuber. You have to create a Patreon.
Yeah, but Blip was even more catastrophic because I feel like it was even a smaller niche community than like some of the reviewing people are on YouTube now.
Would you say it was kind of like the Vimeo of its time?
Oh yeah, definitely. That's probably only the reason why Vimeo is still around now.
It's a scapegoat for people who are sick of fucking YouTube.
That website where people threaten to move to if YouTube keeps up with their shenanigans.
Back when you were like actively making a lot of content, a lot of people would have you do cameos for videos, and I'm one of them. But Patrick even shouted you out. We shouted you out in the Patrick episode. You did a cameo for his, I think he said 50th video or something.
Yeah, I feel bad now because I can't remember the specific video. I think it was like his 100th or 200th video or something like that. It was one of his video capstones. Wanted me to do a cameo in, and I think he casted me as the teenage witch. Which, like, I think I was 21 when he wanted me to do that. And it's like, Pat, I know I'm younger than you, but I'm not a teenager anymore.
Well, there you go. Netflix, here we go. We got the real reboot of Sabrina the Teenage Witch right the fuck here.
If only.
Since we're talking about cameos, this is the part where I have to plug the fact that somebody was in a video that we did. You did a couple of things. You did the voice of Ariel, the plush toy llama in The End of Chris ?
It's all good, kid. The sole reason old Ariel's here is to keep you on the straight and narrow.
You also did the voice of, I know it's got a name, and the fanboy is gonna be like, you know, oh, it's got a name, the pink horse. Yeah, I know. I call it Crackhead. That's what I call it because that's what that horse is. It's a crackhead.
Wonderbolts, Wonderbolts, yeah, Wonderbolts, That is my rap in history at the Wonderbolts.
You did. Oh, this kind of segues us into the bonus content that people worked on, like side projects. You were part of a Chris video, and it was a crossover of a web series you had at the time. It was a series of sketches. It was called Blasphemy. Where did that come from, and what happened to that?
Blasphemy was kind of like one of those. I gotta be careful how I word this. Like one of those sort of fever dream ideas that you have with your friends late at night, where you're like, dude, what if Jesus, God, and the devil were all roommates, but they were chicks? Oh, really? What'd she say? Don't look a gift horse in the mouth and then ask it to bite you. I hate when she talks like that. And that's kind of where it came from. Ex-roommate and ex-friend of mine at this point now. We thought of this idea late at night. I'm pretty sure we were half drunk when we thought of this idea of, you know, what if we got, you know, a bunch of our friends to play all of these biblical characters and just did, you know, random skits, or just, you know, pulled verses from the Bible and did skits off of that. And once I moved back to New Jersey from Virginia, where my school was, I tried my hand at that, and I wanted to keep going with it, but I kind of, unfortunately, just lost the creative juices, the creative steam for that idea. I might bring it back, but I don't know. I would have to have a really good script idea behind it to want to do it again.
I understand that. Yeah, I've had video series for MC Swigga that never went anywhere. That was just like, I don't know, just ran out. History class with Swigga was one. I only did one video of that, and I didn't even want to keep doing it after that. So, man, I just like that idea though. It's like what if it's like a Kevin Smith movie. Dude, what if God was a chick, man?
Yeah, pretty much. And I was actually borrowing a lot from the Dogma movie for that bit, because in the bits that you see, the God character who's dressed down like a hobo, half the time, they never speak. Because, the voice of God is so powerful, it'll make, cities crumble and volcanoes erupt and, people go deaf and die and shit like that. So I was kind of borrowing off of that. And I think I did have God speaking once, and, their inner voice was, the least, charismatic, least powerful sounding voice ever. So that was kind of the secondary joke behind that, is no, God doesn't talk because their voice is so powerful. They talk because they hate how their voice sounds.
Another side project you had for a while was you were doing Let's Plays, and the most prominent Let's Play I remember you doing was Pokemon Go. Back when Pokemon Go was popular.
Yeah, I don't want to toot my own horn, but I was one of the first few people to get a review and video footage out of Pokemon Go when it first released. And my favorite part of that, because I recorded it, I think, when I was going to some festival in New York. So I had my video camera on my face, and I had a screen recording app on my phone. And, I'm going by Pokemon at, light speed on the train going into New York. And at one point, we, half slow down on a bridge, I think, over, kind of swampy, bay area. And off to the right, all of a sudden, an Onix just flashes over the open water and then flashes off screen. And I was on the quiet cart of the train, and I just start, I'm pretty sure I almost made my lip bleed trying to bite it, trying not to laugh so hard. Because, this poor doofus rock Pokemon just spawns in the middle of the ocean I'm going to die. And then just blinks out of existence. That was a quick life. I'm naming you Loch Ness.
So yeah, you did that, and then before you eventually came back to reviewing, you mostly were doing game streams on you did it on YouTube, but it was also on Twitch, right?
Yeah, I did. It was a dual streaming app, Restreamio. So when I would stream on Twitch, it would also pop up on YouTube. But unfortunately, right now with Steam Labs that I use, it doesn't want to also pop up on YouTube. So it's just, strictly on Twitch right now.
Just recently, you announced that you're coming back to doing reviews. So far, you have 1 or 2 done?
I have 1 done right now, and I have the next 2 already written up.
With how sick you sound, and the fact that you're basically having a 20-fold trip right now, reminds me of a film.
Hesitate to ask for the film.
Party Monster!
Yep, I'm glad I hesitated. What is it?
You've never heard of Party Monster?
And that's kind of the vibe I want to keep going right now. And I'm thinking of maybe recording some of the second one today, but unfortunately we have a mishap going on in the living room right now, so we gotta get that fixed and tended to before I can film in there.
This is kind of the wrap-up where people can shout out future projects they're working on, which I guess we kind of already did, and shout out social medias and all kind of stuff. So any final words you got, Lindsey?
Well, I've got a bunch of projects coming up. KomradeKitty is making her, her comeback, her debut. I don't want to say what the sort of main theme of the KomradeKitty in Retrospect project is going to be, because I want to keep new viewers curious about what her new backstory is kind of going to be, because I do like the idea of reviewers having their own backstory and their own story to tell along with the review. I think it keeps things interesting. But you can follow me on KomradeKitty, and that's Comrade with the C on YouTube. I also do Twitch, usually Monday through Friday at about 9 p.m., depending on what is going on in my life. And that's twitch.tv/KomradeKitty, and that's Comrade with a K, because a lot of people like to steal my name, anywhere I go. I'm also on Twitter at KomradeKitty, and that's Comrade with the C. And those are the only main areas that I really use right now so far as social media goes. But yeah, look forward to seeing a different KomradeKitty in the future. And hopefully the story will be told succinctly as I go along with it.
Well, thank you so much, Lindsey. It was great having you on. We appreciated doing this episode. This was fun. Look forward to Lindsey's stuff. Look forward to more MC Swigga stuff. I got more parodies coming up. The parodies I'm working on, I got one that's a parody of an old historical song. It's going to be called It's What We Called YouTube. And then after that, it's a parody song about weeaboos, that song Ocean Man, but it's going to be called Cartoons from Japan, so look forward to that. A Swigga game review coming up on Wizard of Oz on SNES. It's a fucking terrible game. Look forward to all of that. So, yeah. This was the episode of SwigTalk, and we will see y'all next time. Ruckus Knuckles for life. Peace out, y'all.
Bye.